Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Good to see you, Dad. Good to see you, Vance. Good to see you, Vicky. Awesome. Dad's a All Access member, Chord Academy member, and everything else. Vance is a YouTube channel member, and so is Vicky. Good to see you guys. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of open lessons for Chord Academy, and I'm trying to decide how much more I'm going to do these because we're still stuck at 10 people on the YouTube channel. And I was hoping that by doing all these extra lives and things that people would want to join our YouTube channel. But we've been hovering at 10 for like a couple of months now. So I'm going to have to rethink the strategy. But my whole thing is that I want people to practice and to really enjoy what we're doing and really practice. But I need people to also support the channel like a lot of these people here are doing. And I have amazing, faithful members. But we need to ramp it up. So I'm encouraging somebody to join the YouTube channel at least. You can join other things as well. But good to see all of you. Awesome, JD. Good to see you as well. Hugh, a member of All Access member and a YouTube channel member. And good to see all of you. Whether or not you're a member or not, that's not the point of this lesson today. This is just about our continuation of what we did yesterday, which was this idea of different blues licks in different shapes in the piano. And we actually went chromatically down, not chromatically down, but within the scale down. I'm going to go over those positions again that we did yesterday, but also we're going to add the left hand. Now, one of my favorite things that you guys should know is to teach you how to lock up the hands. Like when you're playing little blues ideas like this, I teach you how to learn how to lock up the hands, and one of those ways is by playing everything slow and straight. So I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there are certain ways you can learn how to lock up the hands by thinking almost like a classical person. So we're going to talk a little bit about locking up the hands, but here's what I'm excited about Chord Academy today. Is in Chord Academy, we do a lot of jazz things, we do some blues things, but we also learn how to transpose into different keys. But some really important things related to locking up the hands for the left hand. Even in Chord Academy, we take our lessons, our licks, and our ideas, and we say, well, how do we learn not only how to play voicings, which is really important, but also do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And there's so many different rhythms that I could point you guys to playing certain rhythms. But one thing, as we know, we have to focus in on ideas. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over what we did yesterday, which had a ton of really good feedback about that lesson. But we're going to deal with that, but we're also going to take the left hand and we're going to lock up the hands. So it's like this. I'll pick a specific pattern for each one of the lessons. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And just that was the lesson for the first example. Is notice that I hit on downbeat on C, and you could take this one idea right here and turn it around so many different ways, but we're going to pick one way and we're going to focus on the left hand. So when I do this, 1 and 2 and, notice that I went to C again, and I just decided to do ba-ba-doo-da-dee-da, da-ba-doo-da-dee-da. And when I do that in my left hand, I'm doing a C9. I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So let's, if you understand that, put got it in the chat. And we're gonna go down through all of these, and I think you're gonna really feel encouraged. The moment that you get to where you're playing your chords on the offbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and awesome. JD, it's good to have you this morning joining us, and it's also good to have you interacting in the chat. And I will say this, we haven't had, we've been holding steady for just our YouTube channel. I'm not even talking about our All Access and our Chord Academy, but within the YouTube channel, it's been really active when I go on these lives. But, and we have 13 people watching now. You guys have been liking the videos. I encourage you to do that. Also, make sure you do, I usually don't tell people to hit the bell notifications to know that whenever I go live, but I'm going to ask you to do that just so you will know when we're going live. So, so here we go. Let's dig in and have some fun with this. Is you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on one of our backing tracks from Chord Academy, and it's a drums, bass, and U. So you can let me know if the volume's too loud, too soft, whatever, but I'm just going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and this works in blues and jazz. And 4 and 1 and 2. So I'm doing the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You got to get your reps in, right? Here's G13, F13. Simple blues there. 1 and 2 and 3. And this is going to go to the 5 chord again. All right, here we go again. 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let me know about the volume of the track. Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say. Okay, let me turn that up. I forgot that I had turned that down a little bit for you guys. Let's see how that is. And I can go as loud as I need to go. So let's keep adjusting it till it's right. Now I'm going to put the right hand. I want you to listen to this. Hey, Bill. Okay, let's stop the track and talk about this for just a minute. So our Chord Academies, in the same way with our All Access group, we go for 35 minutes. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, but I always go a little long, and we start wrapping it up around 35 minutes. So we will do the same thing today. We have plenty of time left in today's lesson, but just want to give you guys clarity on that. Okay, so I want to say hey to Bill. Bill is our newest All Access member, and Bill, we are so excited to have you, and it's been awesome even in this little time that you've been a member. So thank you so much. So everybody say hey to Bill, and Doug, who's a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you for that. And Jeffrey, one of the most consistent guys at iMusicAcademy. Thank you, Jeffrey, for all of your support as well. So notice, everyone, what I'm doing. Notice that as a warm-up, as getting your reps in, getting your exercise in, working those fingers, I'm doing a lot of things. I've got my left hand voicing. The C9 turns into an F13. And remember from Chord Academy and All Access that a 9 chord wants to go to a 13 chord. And all you have to do is take 3, flat 7, 9 of the C scale and go down with the bottom 2 notes a half step. A 9 chord then turns into a 13 right there, right? So you have C9 into F13, okay? And then on the G chord, I'm going to do the same, what we call chord formulas for an F13. I'm going to move it up to G13. And you have F, B, and E. And I want you guys to notice something really important that's happening. If I have this, what we call chord formula, I'm always spelling my chord formulas left to right. And so I go flat 7, 3, and 13. And so that is a great chord formula for blues and jazz. If I'm walking a little jazz line and I go like this, just 2, 5 with 3 note voicings, I go D minor to G13. And notice this is a blues voicing. It's also a jazz voicing when I go. So you're getting a lot done by learning these chord formulas. And the last tip about chord formulas is that whenever you're spelling a chord, you have to think of that major scale. So when I say, all right, guys, let's do a flat 7, 3, and 13 voicing, you're saying, okay, from the G scale, which has 1 sharp, you have the F sharp. Now I go flat 7 of G scale. And how do you find the flat 7 on any chord or any key? Just go down a whole step. A half step gets you the major 7 of the scale. And you go down a whole step, it gets you a flat 7. So I can go pinky, index finger, and thumb. And you have this nice, what we call a shape, right? And I can practice going up and down because we've spent a little time getting our muscle memory up by learning these shapes. Okay, so the other thing I did as a warm-up is I said the first 5 notes of the blues scale. And just so you guys know, I put up inside the chat right here, I'm actually creating a PDF for this lesson today, which is a bunch of things combined into one lesson. But I do want you guys to know that I've been doing this. Most of you have this, so don't try to get access to this folder if you already have this PDF. But this is the blues shape one that has all these different things you can do with just this first 5 notes of the blues scale, where you can go. And it's so many different ways to turn around that one shape. And what I want all my beginners and everybody else to know, you can definitely grab that. You don't have to be a member of Chord Academy to get that PDF. Probably about 25 of you, just random people on YouTube, have signed up for that. And I just hit yes, you can have access to it. And then you're invited to the folder. But you can download that chart. But the reason I tell you and why I give away this chart, because I want you guys to take your 5-note blues scale and start practicing it in some different keys. It's the same exact fingers for all keys as you get this 5-note shape down. So if you show up to play somewhere, you know that you're going to have these 5 notes, and they say, all right, let's do a blues in G. And you're like, okay, I remember this shape right here. And maybe I go G13 voice, and I go. Okay, and all I was doing there was, if I'm in a G blues, I know those first 5 notes of the G blues scale are going to work, and then they're going to sound amazing. So you can not only survive but thrive in the blues. Okay, now let's really dig in. Now I've showed you I showed you the blues warm up, and all we're doing is you can take that C9 chord and do it even slow and straight. 1 and 2 and the F sharp gets the lock. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So think about that as you go slow and straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So we're going to go and of 2. Somebody write 2 with a plus sign. 2 means and in music. Okay, so 2 plus. Awesome, JD. JD, we're really glad to have you and glad that you're interacting in the chat. Okay, now let's go ahead. We have 5 things to dig into. So the first thing is this top half of the blues scale, which was part of, remember, this is a recap from yesterday, which was a hugely popular lesson yesterday based on the feedback. And then our left hand voicings, we're adding the left hand to lock things up. Watch this. 1 and 2 and. There it is right there. 1 and 2 and. The goal for today is to get you really thinking about 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do you mean you've been a subscriber, JD? I'm just getting clarity. Or have you been a member? Are you a member of the YouTube channel? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. Because I don't see your icon, JD. Okay, so here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. If everybody understands what we're doing, we're hitting that middle finger there. 1 and 2 and. There it is right there. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. If you understand that, put got it in the chat. JD, what is your I would definitely, anytime we have a member in the building, you should have your little icon there, and it should easily say that that I have you as a member. I'll check on that, but the main thing is for anybody who wants to be a member, just make sure you join the channel. Hit the join button and join us. That would be very helpful. Okay, so notice we got that one idea. Yeah, Vicky says she's got it. 1 and 2 and 3. Awesome. Well, JD, whatever your account is, you obviously have been having access to the membership area, right? So just confirm that for me, and it probably is under another account. But I want to make sure that I'm able to communicate with you, but I certainly appreciate your support. All right, so watch this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Even when you think about it like a a slow and straight thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You're building up your muscle memory. So let me tell you, you are getting a lot done by playing things slow and straight. Awesome, JD. Hey, man, that really makes me happy. And I love the fact that you have time now and that you're interacting. And hopefully, any of you guys who are members, maybe at some point today we encourage somebody else to be a member. I have 10 people. Yeah, that's fine. That's great, JD. That's awesome. So we have 10 members of our YouTube channel, and of course, we have our all access. You guys have been getting all access lessons from our all access community as well as Chord Academy. But the YouTube channel is new, and we've been hovering at 10 people for like a couple of months. Nobody has left, but nobody has subscribed to this thing. So I'm asking somebody out there to join us. And what tier I recommend is you start at $5.99. There's a $9.99 and a $14.99. Do what you can afford, but every penny will really help us. And I think we are really growing fast. So thank you so much. And I'm trying to provide value at any level. I am phasing out the $2.99 level. It's not helping us, and because it's just a hey, I want to support the channel. But people who join, if they join the $2.99, they want everything, and we have too much. Like, there's no reason I should have 4 tiers. All right, here we go. So that one I want you guys to practice 1 and 2 and there it is right there. And notice whatever chord I go to, even on the F, there's that C. Even on the G. Now, when you guys start playing that rhythm right there, let me turn on the track and show you what I mean. 2, a 1, 2. We're practicing locking it up. Even over the F. Even over the G. All right, let me stop this really quickly. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one, watch this. You have this idea of the flat 7. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. We did this yesterday. There are 2 areas of this area of the piano that we say, okay, there's something really nice. I think Rick said it was strange. Did you say it was strange or interesting? That's what Rick said. Rick is the Gandalf of iMusicAcademy, and you have this ba-da-da-da-da-da. And when I hit that flat 7 right there, dee-da-da-da-da-da, that's starting on the flat 7. So we're not starting on the root. And it gives us a little interesting thing to start on that flat 7. Da, 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 da. Okay, now notice when I go to the F chord, watch what happens. I can go to that E flat there. So it really works better over the C chord because that's a part of the C7 chord right there. And I go. And we do it twice. When you go to the F, then you have that. Yeah, it's a bit different. Yes, Rick, you don't have to clarify. When something feels strange, I kind of like that. I kind of like to know when it feels a little bit different. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the track so you guys can hear that. Now, where does it lock up? Watch this. 1 and 2 and. A lot of the time, you're going to get a non-chord tone on the offbeat. Okay, everybody needs to watch that. 1 and 2 and. That F is certainly not a chord tone, but it's on the offbeat and it locks up with our left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's an F there. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. All right, so let's turn on the track and let me demonstrate that. Let's see if we can get a nice sound with that idea. Starting on the flat 7 this time in this area of the piano. 1 and 2. On the F, let's do it here. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2. Even on G. There it is. You So even that's not a bad idea. I didn't even think about this, but I could actually stop on that note so that everybody can see 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. But eventually we want to go all the way down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can go right to it. And you guys, sometimes you hear me do this. I love, love, love the sound of rolling up to the third from the second note. So 1, 2, 3. All right, let me check on the chat, make sure we're good. And we're going to turn on the track and put both of those together. Let me catch up on the live here. Okay, now, if we had those two ideas, we're going to spend time doing that. 2, 3, here we go. The first one, there it is. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. I think that's a good way to do it, to stop and 2 and as we're teaching this. And one more time. Now the second one, here we go. The F. What I love about that mistake right there is I went something like that. What I love about that is going to the flat 7. Like, you have a C minor blues scale first 5 notes, right? What's so amazing about that is when I go to the F chord, all I have to go is right there to C minor, the third note, the flat third, and it gives me the flat 7 of F in the same way that you have this. When I get to F chord, and I go, that same idea, that is that note, the flat 7 of F. So even from the 5-note blues scale, that's why that E flat works when I get to the F chord. I go. And over G we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. All right, let's check the chat, and let's go on to the third position. Actually, before we go on to the third position, this is really important. We put the Cruella de Vil in there yesterday. Cruella de Vil is this idea of the flat third to the major third. And anytime you had these minor third to major third licks, you had a really important thing is that they work on whatever chord you're on. So if I do this, and there's my and of 2, 1 and 2 and. So I'm doing a pickup, so a note before the downbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now watch this when I go to F and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Isn't that nice that when we go to these minor third to major third licks, it doesn't matter the chord we're on, we can do the same pattern on each one of those chords. It's going to sound like $1,000,000. So if you understand that, got it in the chat. And let's actually turn on the track. We're doing okay on time. I need to get to the third one here, but I want to do this one more time. This is the second area of the piano, and we're doing this and 2 and. I love that. And 4, 1 and 2 and. That's B flat. Now watch when I go F. That's the flat 7 of F. F. And back to B flat. There's your B flat. Now watch on G. 2 and 2 and 3. First one. Okay, really quickly, let me stop and show you something I did. I love to be able to show you how different variations work, and I'll probably write this one out as well. But it's the same notes. I'm starting so notice that the first time I showed you this, we did this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and da 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 da. But just then I did 1 da da. It's same note, same C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Watch this. I'll probably write that out. And then the only other thing that I did we're still on the first two examples and we're going to fly through the others, but isn't it nice that I can just go backward? I can go switch between the two. I can go now watch this. And what I did right there is I said, all right, top half of the blues scale, the one we started with. And then when I got to that F chord, it was just nice to go to the second example, the Cruella de Vil part. And back to here. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. Maybe a blues scale. All right, here we go. Let's keep going down the list. I'm going to refresh. Let's see how many people like this stream so far. All right, we have 8 people that have liked it. Hopefully we'll get a lot more. And we have 15 people watching. Let's go on to the third example. I love the third example, and I know that Doug loves this right here. Doug is a mandolin player, all kinds of extra things. He's been focusing on piano lately, but I know everybody loves this idea of... Right? And so I use this as a third area of the piano to focus on. And the idea is the tritone. You can go 2, 3, 5, da 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 da. That can be a lick in itself. And just to use it as an exercise. And even play it on the F. Or you go. Or this idea. So this idea of, all I'm doing is 2 and 5. So the tritone, which we talked about, Oscar Peterson and tritone, this idea of 2 and 5, and you just go 2, 5 to 3, 5. 1 triplet, 2. And it really sounds good up here when you hear this all the time. I'm just trying to do it in an area that sounds good on the piano for you guys. And Bill likes this, which is good. Yeah, Bill, it fits right under the hand, doesn't it? And yesterday somebody asked me, they said, oh, will I sound like Oscar Peterson in a few minutes? And I'm like, yeah, you will. Now, it won't mean you will really sound like him, but you can use the language, some of the language from Oscar Peterson. As crazy good and world-class as Oscar Peterson was and gifted in so many crazy different ways, he would also break it down to do this kind of sound right here. So just like you have, he would do that as well, and just really light. Sometimes he'd play really slow blues, but sometimes he would do this kind of sound too. So you have the... And all that is 2 notes. You have the F and C with the E flat. That gives you the minor third, and then you go C minor right there. So even when I go to the F chord. And notice that here I am at this right here, and I go... That's just blues scale. That's your first 5 notes of the blues scale. A great exercise for everybody to do. This will help you stretch your fingers and also just get used to the visual of this first 5 notes of the blues scale. Is just do this exercise really slowly. If you can, hold your top note with your C, but practice going F sharp, G, F sharp, F, E flat, C if you can do that. And what that is just the 5-note blues scale. Now you guys know that I have a ton of blues courses, right? Tons of exercises, tons of licks, etc. But a lot of them come from the blues scale. And so when I do things like this even, these are blues scale things using the tritone, right? And I showed you guys this one yesterday, but here's your quick bonus trick, and then we have 2 more things to do, and we're going to wrap it up. C7, when I play a C7 chord, and then you say, well, how do I get into that cool blues riff that I just did? Your index finger goes up a whole step, and it perfectly sets you up for this tritone lick. Now, when I just did that, awesome. All right, hey, JD. All right, everybody say goodbye to JD. JD, hey, it makes us so happy that not only are you a member, and you've been a member for a while, you've been hanging in there even when you couldn't practice. So thank you for joining in the chat, and it's so great to see you on a live session. So stay tuned for more, and again, thank you, JD. So everybody know we are wrapping it up in just a minute. This idea of whatever chord you're on, just remember C7, put your index finger up. This is a little bonus trick. Go C7 to F chord, and then it's minor third to major third. And this is actually in Blues Volume 1, so have no fear, everybody who has the sheet music for that. And on G, it's the same thing. Okay, that's a really fun tip. All right, the next thing, we have 2 more to do. This is the easiest one, so stay tuned for this. It's the C triad, and all I want you to do is get to that minor third to major third. It's this area of the piano. From a visual standpoint, you guys are in great shape if you can get to where you're visualizing this C chord. And when I put it with my left hand, watch what happens. 1 and 2 and. There it is right there. 1 and 2 and. It's the E flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There it is. 1 and 2 and. There's a lockup. Okay, now watch what happens when I go to the E flat chord. I can do this. Or. And all I'm doing is deciding which note I want to go on the and 2. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. This would be a great exercise. 1 and 2. Now watch on the E flat. Okay, as I've showed you guys so many times, this idea of what a great thing to visualize as you're transposing. F. 1. There it is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1. And 2 and 3. All right, the very last one is the most important thing when you think about Ray Charles, this idea of getting that 6th into your playing. Very last one for today's lesson. We're almost done. You go up to from C up to the A, and you have this. But I want to focus on 3 half steps down, and all we're doing is this. Remember, that's the A blues scale. So when you're playing a C blues, you can use the A blues scale. 1 and 2 and. So we go 1 and 2 and 3. Let me give you a note. That's what I'm searching for, the right note for you guys. Let's use the C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So you're actually starting on the E flat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And notice how it'll work over all the notes. I'm going to turn on the track, and this will be the last time I do this for today, and then we'll say goodbye. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's do a quick review. So second, let's do Cruella de Vil. How about the bonus? Same thing on F. Same thing on G. Last chorus. All right, let me stop that. All right, I hope you guys have had an awesome day today in this lesson. A reminder, we are still at 10 members in our YouTube channel, and I'm trying to think of new strategies to get that next person. We've had a really awesome participation from our YouTube members today, and I'm really thankful for that. I am going to be phasing out the supporter tier, which is the very basic one. It's not doing us any good. And I say us, all of us. So I'm going down to 3 tiers on this, and I do appreciate all of your support. I'm looking for the next person to do it. When you join, as soon as you join, you get access to the member area, which is tons of stuff. We have an elite tier. We have, what do you call it? Like a next level, and then a musician level. So whichever one you can afford, I think you'll find some amazing goodies there. And you can always change your tier at any time. All right, so let me say goodbye to everybody and do what you guys always do, is say goodbye to each other. So Dad, first on today, good job. And Vance said, if you're early, on time. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. That's true. That's a musician's, that's a great quote for musicians, isn't it? So good to see you, Vance. Good to see you, Vicky. All 3 members of the YouTube channel. Good to see you, Rick. Rick is an all access member, and good to see you, as well as Hugh. Good to see you. We have JD, who's a member. Awesome. I love this. And Bill, all access member. Doug, YouTube channel member. Jeffrey's huge supporter of iMusicAcademy. Of course, Bill, you got, let me see if there's anybody else here. All right. Good to see you, Hugh. All right, guys, 10 more seconds and we're out. And we'll have our normal lesson on Thursday. Remember, Thursday we're doing an all-access blues lesson. We're going to put all this together. That's right. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Pick one of those ideas and have fun with it. Be good, guys. And Vicky, good to see you.